everyone, it's Monica and welcome back to Taylor-Made Cards for You. Well, I'm back today to share with you this kit, and it is perfect for Halloween. The design team is also going to be creating some projects using this kit, so I'll make sure that I link their projects below. So today I'm going to create a Halloween book, and this kit is perfect for not only journal books, but cards, all sorts of Halloween designs. So the first thing that I did is I found some thick cardboard, and you can use lots of things to create your base. You can use old cereal boxes, you can use the back of designer sheet, paper pads. So I tend to hoard these when I can, so that way I can save them and use them for my journal books. And the way that I create my base for my book is I add double-sided tape, and then I add my design paper right to one side of the pieces, and then I add the other piece of tape to the cardboard. And then, as you can see, I have a nice sheet that I can run through my Big Shot using my die. Now, the die that I have is one of those thick steel dies, and it cuts through thicker paper, so it's perfect for these journal books. Now, I've been making these little journal books for years, and what I love about this design is you can create these little books for all occasions. I've made them for Halloween, I've made them for Valentine's Day, and now I'm making them for Halloween. And the way that I typically will add my spine to my front and my back cover is by using both double-sided strong tape as well as wet glue adhesive. Now, the reason that I use both is because when I am adding these pages, I have found that just using the double-sided tape isn't strong enough. I've had some of my books come apart, and that's why I've decided to actually use both the double-sided tape as well as the glue. The double-sided tape will hold the front and the back in place while the glue actually does its part. And this glue that I'm using is really strong, but it does take a minute to dry. So that's why I kind of use both, like I said, the tape and the glue. So once I have my front cover and my back cover in place, then I typically will set it aside to dry. And I usually set it aside for a couple of hours. So when I'm making these books, a lot of times I do them in an assembly line where I'm cutting my paper, gluing my front and my back panels, and then putting them aside to dry. And then I'll go typically and cut out my my signatures. Now, if you're making a book that goes a specific direction, you want to make sure that you do pay attention to that. So when you're adding your front and your back cover, that they are also going in the same direction. You also want to make sure that if you have a specific design that you want to be the front cover versus the back cover, that you also pay attention to that as well when you're gluing them to the spine. Now, this die also cuts out the signatures for you. The signatures are a little bit smaller than your front and back cover, and it also has the hole so you can attach it to the spine of your book. So as you can see here, I have some wonderful designer paper that I am folding in half. And again, when you cut it using your die, it cuts the holes and it also creases the paper. So it's really easy to fold these pieces. And then once you have your three pieces, there's a couple of ways you can go. You can use these pieces as covers for additional paper to add in the middle, or you can add the paper in between each of these pages. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a minute. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my twine, and I'm going to add the twine through the holes and then attach them to the books. And this is really easy. These holes aren't too thin, so I can easily use my twine, just using my fingers to attach them to my journal book. So I'm going to go ahead and just add all three of them at the same time, meaning I'm not going to tie them individually. I'm going to go ahead and add each page, leaving the twine loose at the end, because I'm going to end up tying all these strings together. Now, the way that I'm going to bind this book is just one of many ways that you can do this. I'm choosing to keep my strings loose so that way I can have one bow. But I've also tied bows with the individual strings before. I've attached the twine coming from the outside in, and I will tie a knot and cut off the excess, not having any bow at all. So there's a couple of ways that you can actually attach these pages. So be a little creative when you are making several of these books. But like I said, for this particular book, I am going to go ahead and tie one bow using all 3 strings. So once I have all my pages attached, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my string is relatively the same length, so that way my ends will be even. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull my string so that way it is tight. That way it's not going to be loose. And then I'm going to tie a knot. So the most important part here is the knot. You want to make sure your string is tight so your pages aren't loose. And then you want to make sure you tie a nice knot, because once you have the knot, then it's really easy to just finish it off with a bow. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach some journal pages. Now, the way that I attach journal pages is by using some of my elastic string. And if you are familiar with making journal books, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. This is string that you can add to your book so that way your signatures can easily slide in and out. And it makes it easy to be able to replace paper. Now, on this particular die, at the top of the binding, there's some notches. So these are intended to have inserts. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go ahead and use this little journal book to add some of those elastic bindings to be able to add my plain paper for journal writing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and attach 3 strips of the elastic binding. And I'm just following the notches in the book, and I'm going to go ahead and tie them in the middle. So you want to have them a little bit pulled tight so that way the elastic is stretchy, but not too stretchy that you're not going to have any give. You'll be able to kind of feel your way through here. Just put your string through, pull it just a bit, and then tie a knot. And you're going to do this on all 3 of the notches. And then you're going to trim off the excess elastic. All right, so when I was making this book, I didn't really think it through. Probably in hindsight, I would have added the elastic first, because when I got to the middle notch, I found that I had to kind of slip the elastic through the back underneath the bow. Now, it wasn't that big of a deal because this elastic is pretty thin and I was easily just able to thread it through underneath the bow. But if you don't want to hassle with that, then what I would recommend is to add your elastic to the notches first and then add your signatures. But as you can see here, it was pretty easy to just slip it right under the back of the bows and then tie it as I did the other 2. And once you have the elastic attached, you're really on the home stretch, because all you need to do is cut out some paper, again using that die, and slip it through the elastic. Now, I want to say that I used 3 to 4 pages under each elastic, but you probably could fit more. It really is up to you. So just kind of feel your way through. If you do end up getting too much paper in there, then I would recommend adding some sort of a tie or a bow at the end of each of the book, the front and the back, so you can tie it closed. But for me, I think I ended up using 3 pages and then folded in half. It gave you 6 folded pages essentially. Now, like I said, what I love about this design is I can use it with all of my digital kits, and I can replicate these books very easily because, of course, with digital paper, you can print the same design over and over again. So if you're interested in buying a finished book, I do have some of these in my shop, and I will make sure that I link these below. All right, so with the elastic in place, I only had a couple of things left to do. Number 1, I had to add my paper underneath the elastic, which I'm going to do here in just a minute. And then, of course, I had to decorate the book. Now, decorating the book is always my favorite part because you can embellish it however you want. I love adding tabs to the pages, adding some of my paper dolls, and just small ephemera pieces. And the paper dolls from Tim Holtz work great with this kit because, as you can see, this kit is kind of a black and white kit. Even though it does have some other colors, really the black and white paper dolls go perfect with this design kit. Okay, so for the front inside of the book, I decided to add this little pocket that has this mini tag. And again, I just used some of the extra designer paper that I had left over to match the pages. So here I'm just gluing the pocket together, and then I'll be adding it to the front of the book. Now, if you don't have a pocket die, you can easily create your own using cardstock or even some old manila paper. I think it's really fun to create some sort of a library insert card, and that way you can journal on it, especially if it's a gift. Also, these make great gift card holders as well. So if you do decide to add a pocket, you can easily add a gift card to this book. And tabs are always fun as well. Tabs, you can add little stickers to them. You can add some of those black and white rub-ons that Tim Holtz has, or any label stickers that you may have will be great for these tabs. And I typically will add some of the label stickers to this because they fit perfectly onto the tabs. All right, so as I finish decorating this book, I want to go ahead and remind you that this is going to be a video hop. The design team is going to be sharing with you their designs using this kit. And some of the design team members decided that they didn't want to go too creepy on Halloween, so they are using other kits instead. Now, if you want to be entered into a drawing to get this kit, I will have a link below that you can go ahead and click on and enter your name for the drawing. You're also going to want to leave a comment on my video as well as all of the design team videos to be able to qualify for the drawing. I will be giving away this kit, and like I said, even though it is perfect for Halloween, you can also use it for other occasions as well. My drawings typically are at the end of the month, so like I said, we're going to be well into the Halloween season by the time I do have this drawing, but it still is a great kit to use for other designs as well. All right, so with my tabs added, it was now time to add my paper dolls. And I dug through my my Halloween paper dolls. And these are paper dolls that Tim specifically picked out that work great for some of your Halloween makes. I used some of these paper dolls in my 7 Days of Halloween series, so you probably are very familiar with these paper dolls that I've used. And I found these two little twin boys that just had enough creep to add to this Halloween book. All right, so once I had my tabs attached, it was time to add my paper dolls to the front of the journal book. And the paper dolls that I'm using are from the Tim Holtz Halloween pack. If you are familiar with my videos, which hopefully you are because you are a subscriber, then you know that I love working with paper dolls. And during Halloween and Christmas, Tim does have specialty packs for paper dolls that work perfect for the holidays. So I dug through my Halloween paper dolls and I found these cute twin boys. Well, they're probably not twins, but they're probably brothers, right? But they have matching outfits, which are, this is a great set of boys for Halloween. But I wanted to add a little bit more. So I also pulled out my sticker book and I pulled out the masks and added them to the little boys, which really finished off the Halloween look. And of course, I had a lot of fun decorating the inside of the book as well. So I hope that you've enjoyed my tutorial today on putting together this cute little Halloween book. But most of all, I hope that you love my new kit called Roses and Rust. It is available in the shop, and as a special edition, I am offering a Halloween bundle that has several of my Halloween design kits. And this is the first year that I'm doing that. So be sure to check out the links below so you can check out the Halloween bundle as well. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by, and don't forget to check out those links below for the additional videos. We'll see you again next time.